Robbie drives to work. I think it's like number 5. It's been a while. I've been wanting to make a video for a bit, and um, this isn't exactly the note I wanted to make a new video on. But we're here. We're back, and just quickly, I think I'm maybe getting fumes from this shirt, but I've got to show my support for my guy George. Um, Also, disregard that mess in the back, especially you, Mom. I'm gonna clean it, I swear. Um, I want to get serious for a minute. I'm not usually very serious, but uh, I'm one to I love a good hot take. I love to give people shit, but it's never right to say something disparaging or negative about someone that makes them look bad when it's not true. I legitimately was told by this guy that he talked to me about George Contos being his son. Literally mentioned him and his brother by name. Um, I was wrong. And this guy duped me big time. He was clearly ready from the beginning to not pay me because he didn't even want me to know who he really was. Um, and I've legitimately gone on. It's like Santa Claus isn't finding out Santa Claus isn't real. I've been going on this whole time with this irrational hate for George Contos when in reality he should be a guy that I'm rooting for as a guy, a local Chicago guy. Clearly a hard worker. He's not like the you don't know. I take that back. He's the most talented pitcher there is in the bigs. He's a great underrated relief pitcher, and I'm ready to be his biggest fan this year. So I'm turning it around. I'm giving up, making up for lost time, and George Contos is not only going to make the Cubs roster, but he is going to be one of the key prominent relief pitchers for this team. I promise you that. Um, let's say this. I gave myself a little bit of a Twitter ban. I was already punished a little bit yesterday. I'm gonna buy a jersey, and I said something along the lines of if he unblocks me, I'll buy a jersey. I'm buying a George Contos jersey. It's only right. Wasn't cool what I did, even though I was duped by someone else. Not cool. I'm gonna buy his jersey. I'm gonna be his biggest fan. I missed a lot yesterday. I gave up Twitter at a horrendous time, so much that I wanted to comment on. I typed out like 10 tweets, and then I realized before I sent them that I'm not allowed. I imposed a ban on myself. So the Blackhawks, the Blackhawks are fully back, and I wanted to comment so bad. They're now in a playoff spot, and I couldn't even make my Blackhawks are actually back tweet, and that was very upsetting. I couldn't even get a good workout in yesterday because what's the point of getting a good workout in if I can't brag about it on Twitter? So I mean, it ruined my workout. Then on top of that, Joe Madden made a little bit of a comment about the lineup, and I was all over him last year. It's been one of those things where he actually had a really good year last year, and I was not happy with him for a good majority of the beginning of it, but he really did a great job, and so I've set it upon myself to be much more positive about Joe Madden. And he made a comment about his lineups, mentioning that he's going to keep lineups for series, and he likes to mess with the lineups, change things around. And to me, I've always said that players can't get comfortable in those roles. He's going to give them a kind of a series to get more comfortable in their spots. Obviously, not everything's going to be the same, but he said that's his general theory, and I love it. Love it. Really excited already about this year. It's going to be awesome. Didn't start off on the best foot with the Cubs, but we're working. We're going to get back. The other thing is Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell yesterday, the Steelers said they weren't going to tag him. What does he do? He goes to Twitter with a Martin Luther King quote. Are you fucking kidding me, man? Like, I don't even know what to say. It's so baffling to me. You're an NFL player that gets paid millions and millions of dollars. Whether you made the right move or not last year, that's up to you. And I'm not going to judge you or tell you how to make your own decisions. But don't ever make a Martin Luther King quote saying you're free at last because your team has decided not to pay you $20+ million next year. Get out of here. Come on, man. That's awful. Like, so bad. And him and Antonio Brown, the drama that they're bringing, it's unbelievable. It's no wonder the Steelers haven't lost. I feel terrible for Big Ben. Who knows what could have been with his career if he had some guys on his team that weren't so selfish. It's really unbelievable. And I always was giving Big Ben crap. I thought it was him, and maybe it was. I'm not gonna. Those guys are awesome, awesome football players. But that attitude just doesn't work on winning football teams. You ever see anyone act like that on the Patriots? Absolutely not. There's a reason some of these teams are successful every year, and that's it. Um, so Zion, um, that was nuts, and I've long been a proponent for NCAA paying players. I won't talk too much about this because it's something that like people are hammering home on Twitter, and I agree. I agree with the sentiment, but it's one of those things that how many people have probably ripped their shoes before? Zion's not the first one to rip to run out of the sole of his shoe. I'm sure of it. Maybe I'm wrong. I was very sure about this George Contos thing, and I was very wrong. But I'm sure I can find some video somewhere of someone who's ripped their shoe in the past. It's happened. I get it. I get it. People want college athletes to be paid. But every situation that happens shouldn't all of a sudden bring up your agenda. Not everything should be about your agenda. I get how this exemplifies that situation, but it's not like, okay, Zion ripped through his shoe, one player ripped through his shoe, all of a sudden we're going to pay players now. Like, no, that's not how it works. I don't know. I'm clearly a little bit distraught this morning. I'm making enemies on my favorite team. I can't have that, and clearly I'm a little bit upset. And you'd think now I'd kind of learn my lesson about talking shit, maybe making enemies. One guy I'm never going to give up talking crap about. I don't even know what I could do to turn that around and to change my mind. Manny Machado, my least favorite player, probably in all sports. I just hate his attitude. It wasn't that he didn't run out the ball to first last year, but then he starts making comments. I'm not Johnny Hustle 2 months before he's going to ask for a 10-year, $300 million contract. Like, just absurd. It's really, I don't know. The level of ego these guys have and the things that they feel like they can do and say, clearly he is fine. He still made his big money and all that. But now he's going to go to San Diego, sign him with the Padres, exactly $300 million. Some ego on you, man. You definitely didn't want to hit that $300 million number just to have the ego and say, I'm making $300 million. I'm Manny Machado. I made $300 million a year. Because all the White Sox would have had to do is pay him $275 million, which they didn't offer anyway. The White Sox screwed up big time. 270. I think my dad's the jock tax man, Mark Goldstick, was giving me a little bit of class on how this works. So I was really interested. He said I think it was 274 million was the number the White Sox needed to hit. So just based on taxes in California, taxes being, I think he said something along the lines of like almost 20% in California, and they're like 4 point something percent in Illinois. But honestly, it's just a weird situation. The exact number just didn't sit right with me. The way all he wanted was guaranteed money and not incentives. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe he works his butt off and maybe he's great. But to me, I think that contract on the back end is going to be a disaster. And someone needed to do it. Someone needed to pay him the money. I said if the White Sox wanted him, they should have done it. But Padres did it. We'll see how it goes. Those last few years for a guy that seems to be as lazy as Machado is, it's going to be tough. Awesome player. Like, I hate him, but I'll admit he's a really good player. But, yeah, just ridiculous. I'll be rooting against him forever, although Padres got some good young talent. They should probably be pretty good at some point in the next few years. But, yeah, that's it. I want to finish this apologizing one more time to my guy George. I'm actually going to be at the spring training game on Saturday. I don't want to seem like I'm some keyboard warrior that's going to give someone a ton of shit and not show my face. If he wants to punch me, George, if you want to punch me in the face, I know you block me on Twitter now, so you probably won't see this. Probably wouldn't have seen it anyway. But someone's pissed over there laying on the horn of the bus. But I know you won't see this, but if you do, I'll walk right up to you at the game. You can knock me out if you want. I'd love to shake your hand, apologize, because I don't admit I was wrong often. Rarely ever, if ever. So, big moment here, George. I'm sorry. I'm your new #1 fan. I'm going to try to buy your jersey before the game on Saturday. I don't know if that's possible. But I'll be there. I'll be there supporting you like no one ever has. So again, apologize, George. Contos Gate, as my friend Paul has been calling it. Yeah, tough day, but we bounce back. See you guys next time.